What it do, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Here's the Deal. Before we get started, first, I want to give a big announcement. Here's the Deal is officially a part of the Hooplifetv network. Shout out Jordan Daly, Stacy Collier, Ben Okazawa, all those guys over there. We are now officially the Hooplifetv podcast network. It's a great opportunity, and now not only can you find Here's the Deal on SoundCloud and iTunes and Spotify, iTunes, you can find us over there at the hooplifetv.com, so make sure you guys go check that out. And starting this week, we'll also be having 2 episodes per week. That's right, 2 episodes for you guys. We'll have an football NFL episode for you guys, ran by my co-host. Y'all know him, DC Coleman. Say what's up.
What's good? Y'all already know what's up. We in here.
Y'all know what's up. So he'll be running our NFL portions, and I'll be running our NBA episodes. So, man, glad that's happening. David, what's going on with you, man?
Nah, man, I'm living good. Been listening to a lot of Nipsey lately, man. It's been motivating.
Hey, look, that's the first thing I went to when I got that job offer. I was like, oh, yes.
Hey, give me a different type of vibe, different type of dedication. Like, I'm out here, I'm doing the damn thing. So yeah,
hey, man.
Been feeling good.
Yeah, man, we definitely feeling good. Let's jump right into the NBA, man. I got some sad news for all you Laker fans, which includes me. It hurt my heart too. But DeMarcus Cousins, unfortunately, not even in an official practice, nothing, just a private workout, tore his ACL on Thursday. It was confirmed on Thursday, tweeted out by Adrian Wojnarowski. This sucks, man. I'm going to be real with you as a Laker. I'm speaking from a Laker fan right now. Now, granted, we knew it was a risk signing Boogie Cousins, but I can guarantee no one saw him tearing his ACL. And even if they did see him getting hurt, they didn't see it happening before the season even started. So, first off, prayers out to DeMarcus Cousins. There's no way of telling where his headspace is at. To have 3 major injuries like this back to back to back, I don't even know what that would do to my psyche, my ego. So, David, I'll start with this. What's your initial thoughts, reactions to just DeMarcus Cousins going down with that torn ACL?
Well, my initial thoughts when I heard the news, and it was reported that he had a serious, I believe it's a knee injury they were reporting.
Right.
I definitely was like, he'll be fine. He'll miss maybe a month or 2 to start the season, but he'll be fine. It's nothing too serious. All right. No longer than 2 hours later, they sure enough reported, torn ACL, and sure enough out for the season. I'm pretty sure. So I look at it and I kind of want to blame the Warriors to a degree, but at the same time, it's kind of Boogie's fault as well. He rushed himself back from the Achilles injury. He rushed himself back from the quad injury, and he should just, like, hindsight 2020, but he should have took his time. Like, he should have took his time, especially after the quad injury. He goes down with that, and we know the history of Achilles injuries. Once you have that injury, it's like everything else just starts to break down. It's not even the Achilles that as much as, okay, this leg just has to do a lot more work, and especially he's 270 plus pounds, so he's pushing a lot more weight out there, and it's just a likelihood that he's bound to get, nicked up somehow. And I was just, at first, I immediately, started praying for my boy. I thought he was going to be okay, but it's rough to hear. I definitely don't want to see any players go down, especially a player like DeMarcus Cousins. Him for so many years, he's been probably the best center of this decade, if I had to pick anybody. He's been dominant on both sides of the ball. He's kind of, like, it's crazy to say, but he's kind of like a modern day Shaq. He may not have the dominance as far as, just dunking on people and things like that, but as far as not being able to be guarded, just from, especially in modern day basketball, you have to be able to, shoot at the center position. So
right,
he's kind of gives us that feel as, okay, you can't stop him on the perimeter, and you can't stop him on the block. So he kind of has that modern day Shaq going for him. Obviously, he's not Shaq to the degree where he drops 35 every damn night, but he kind of gave me that feeling. Just seeing all these injuries that he's accumulated, it definitely left a sour taste. So.
Yeah, it definitely left a sour taste. And again, like we said, prayers out to Boogie Cousins, hoping for a speedy recovery, hoping not only a speedy recovery physically, but a speedy recovery mentally. Because I know that can fuck with your mental. Man. But go ahead.
I said, man, and then he didn't even get the bag. Like he declined that 2-year, $20 million deal from the Pelicans, and assuming that he make it up eventually. But now it's like just try and get on the court. Like it's looking like a whole bunch of minimum deals until he can't prove I can be out there for a year or two. So
Right, and then a lot of fear around is that this may be it. You go
sure.
from Achilles tear to what was a quad tear to an ACL tear. Like I guarantee, there's a lot of doctors and people telling me, "Hey, that's it, hang it up," because you still outside of basketball, you got things to think about. When you have kids, you still want to walk with your kid. You don't want to beat your body up so much that later in life, you can't do anything. So. Man, definitely praying for that dude. But let's kind of, as hard as it is, sidetrack the talking about the actual injury, and let's discuss its impact on the league. Because to me, I think the Brooklyn Nets are looking at this. Now, I know that Kevin Durant is total different weight, skinnier guy, but he's had a broken foot before that he's had surgery on. He's had a couple injuries there, an Achilles tear. Like me and you have said many times, you just don't know. You don't know if you're going to be able to come back from that. So I think this could have some impact on the rest of the league on how they treat guys with Achilles tears. I mean, what do you think about that?
It's definitely a player by player type of thing. You've seen players like Rudy Gay; he's come back pretty well from it. KD, as far as he goes, it's tough to kind of gauge how he's gonna play because his game is not as much vertical, but it's a lot of horizontal, side to side. Like he has a pretty tight handle for his position, so he does have kind of like a handle. But at the end of the day, KD is such a tall player, and he can always post up. So I don't see it affecting him as much, and adding on with multiple injuries. But I think as far as the league goes, it's just big men. When big men have this injury, it's definitely going to be a red flag as far as don't even touch him unless he is, a talent like Boogie is, but don't give him that contract that, is, max, almost a max type of deal. So it definitely affects the big men, if nothing else. I think guards and wings, they can kind of get around it though.
Yeah, I guess I would agree with that. I think it's definitely going to be more of a look towards big men, but damn, will we consider K? I mean, he goddamn 7 foot now. Like, nah, but I'm definitely with you. Those guys who weigh a little bit more. You're right. Rudy Gay has bounced back, and as skilled of a scorer as Kevin Durant is, even if he doesn't have that much lift, like we just said, he's almost 7 foot. He's shooting over everybody anyway, so I think he'll definitely have a better chance at it. I'm just hoping that, kind of like when he first got hurt in the playoffs, and it was just, a calf strain, quote unquote, at first. He rushed back too early, and we see what happens. So I would never pray injury on anybody in the league. Doesn't matter. But I hope he kind of looks at this and doesn't rush back too soon for the Nets. That's what I'm hoping.
For sure.
But let's segue into what this means for the Lakers, because Boogie could have been an important piece for this team. He was definitely a wild card, an X factor, if you ask me. And now the Lakers are without him. So do you think the Lakers' title chances are gone with losing Boogie Cousins?
Are the title chances gone?
Are they still a contender for the title?
I mean, as long as you got Anthony Davis and LeBron, you're a contender for sure. But as far as, where they rank in contention, do I have them as high as they once were? I definitely think they take a step back. That you lose a big body that they were, like, people kind of say Boogie was just a luxury, but I believe he was actually a necessity to this team. He brought scoring. I mean, even when he came back for the Warriors, he's still getting you 16, 17 points a night. So he's going to score the ball. He's going to rebound. And he's one of the best passing big men in the league. And just having that type of chemistry with Anthony Davis, Rondo, and, he probably would have fit in seamlessly with LeBron. Just having a big man that can stretch the floor as well, just opening up the paint for other players. He played a big role, even if he wasn't, a perennial all-star still. So I think they definitely take a step back. They lose one of their key guys, their third or fourth best player, depending on how you feel about Kuzma. But I definitely look at it and say they have some work to do. Anthony Davis and LeBron got to be just as, all-time great, just as we expect them to be, but they have to be there. And Kyle Kuzma has to take a leap into his game. He has to develop into, a scorer that can just not, shoot off the catch and shoot from LeBron and Anthony Davis out of the post, but also go out there and get some buckets for them. When they're not on the court, can you carry the offense? Things like that. So I definitely think the Lakers take a step back, and they still are contenders, like I said, as long as you got LeBron and AD. But they got a lot of work to do and some kinks to work out. They got a different team. They lose a big body. Now you only have JaVale, Anthony Davis kind of playing that big man role. So they got to go out there and get a center. But they're definitely it's gonna take a little bit for this team to bounce back from this. You still have them on roster throughout the whole entire year, and I definitely they're definitely not gonna cut them or anything like that. So
Right.
they lost a roster spot and a little bit of money that they could have put towards some of these other free agents out there.
Yeah, I would say personally, if I'm just being objective, I don't think it knocks us out of title contention. He wasn't as important as he could have been. He wasn't part of the dynamic duo, if you will, of Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So you still have that there. I do think this takes a ding at our depth, though. He was a guy that on any given night, you never know. He might give you 5, or he might give you 15. He might give you 25. You just don't know. I think his passing would have been big for us. But at the same time, on the flip side of it, I think this kind of clarifies something as far as the lineup. I think this pretty much puts Kuzma on the bench, to me personally. I think he needs to come off the bench. He averaged 18 a game last year, I think we're going to need that firepower coming off the bench. So I think a starting lineup of like LeBron, Danny Green, it's just, man, that AD and McGee thing is so big. In fact, let me get into the next little segment of this because maybe that'll tie in. So obviously the Lakers are going to have to go out and probably sign a big man to come play some minutes because JaVale McGee is only playing about 20 minutes a night and AD wants to play the 4. So I'll ask you this. This is a name I'm getting here thrown out around. And when I first heard this name, I'm going to be honest, David, I didn't want nothing to do with it. I remember how this guy came to L.A. I didn't like him at any point he was in L.A. Granted, I understand he was coming off a back injury, but these were the Kobe days. And so everything was serious. Like, everything was serious in L.A., bro. And he was just a little too, he was just smiling too much for me. And apparently Kobe, because he was calling him soft, all types of stuff. So what do you think about the Lakers going after a guy in Dwight Howard who's looking for a team who really hasn't found a home since he left L.A.? He's been on how many teams since then? The Rockets,
like
the
4 or 5,
Hawks, the Hornets. He's on the Grizzlies technically right now. So he hasn't found a team. He's trying to rebuild his image. What do you think about the Lakers giving a guy like Dwight Howard a shot? And do you think he could be productive on this team?
I do think he can be productive. So, I mean, if they do add him, I think he'll come in and play the role he's supposed to play. But I'm not sure how I like the marriage of them getting, the remarriage of them getting back together. Him, LeBron, Anthony Davis. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But Dwight, he's effective when he does play. When he last was, seeing some type of, minutes and actually out there. He was with the Hornets. I believe he averaged about 16 and 12. So he can still be productive. That was about 2 years ago now. So that is, a couple injuries later, hamstring later, but Dwight Howard is still, despite what people think, he still is, one of those all-time great centers, especially in this generation. He's kind of, a pioneer, leading up to these new centers that we see now. I do believe if they were to add him, it wouldn't be any. I don't see him starting on this team. I think JaVale probably would actually still have the starting role.
Definitely.
But he does add another big body out there for them, which is much needed. If he can come out in there and play 15, 20 minutes, then he's done his job. He'll probably get you 8 rebounds, if not more, in that time. So he can be effective in spurts, and that's kind of all the Lakers do need. But I just don't like him going back to L.A. and the way that went the first time. Even though he's not a superstar anymore, like you said, he's trying to rebuild his image. And playing with somebody like LeBron, you kind of look at it and say, okay, yeah, you can do that with him, but it's one of those things that could go way left, or it could go, great at the same time. So I'm kind of hard on adding Dwight. And some other guys I think they should look at. I think they should look at Joakim Noah and Kenneth Faried. Those are some other guys I think, may fit them pretty well. Even Nene, he can come in there. He'll get you 10 minutes, 15 minutes and score, get you rebounds. But as far as Dwight, I don't love the marriage, but he'll be effective if they do actually go out there and get him.
Yeah. For Dwight, I look at this as twofold. I look at losing DeMarcus Cousins as a offensive problem. But defensively, wasn't really that much of a great defender at all. So I think Dwight Howard would be an upgrade at that, especially if you're bringing him off the bench. And like I said, I think Kuzma's going to be your main guy off the bench. And Kuzma's not a great defender either, even though he's been working on it, and I've been seeing it in Team USA. But if you have a guy back there who can swat shots, then Kuzma, granted, I want you to play defense. Don't get it twisted. But, when you have somebody who's protecting the rim, you can afford to slack off. You know what I'm saying? So, and conserve more of your energy for offense, which he may need to carry our offense. So, I don't know. I'm kind of like 60-40 to signing Dwight Howard right now. Now, you mentioned some other good names. We talked about Joakim Noah. I just don't know how I feel about that. I just read you that article about him. Obviously, he's still producing defensively enough. He's great at switching. He knocks down his free throws. So I wouldn't be totally opposed to a Joakim Noah move. I just never was the hugest fan. Nene is a little bit too old for my liking. I ain't seen Nene dunk since Denver. I'm almost scared. It's always a finger roll. You know, that's all used to. It's always something.
Don't come for Nene, man.
I like Nene, but I just need a little bit someone who's gonna get a little bit more physical. Personally, Nene's getting up there. If he was a little bit younger, I might want to get him. And then who's the other person? You said Nene, Kenneth Faried. Faried. I like Faried. He's a little shorter for me. He's 6'8". He's not really protecting no rim. He'll get you some boards. He'll roll to the basket. He's even shooting threes last year. I still have not got that vision out of my head of Faried shooting corner threes and was
knocking them down too.
What? I was like, what's going on right now? So it's a lot of names out there being thrown. But if we're talking specifically to Dwight Howard, man, I'm 60-40. I'm 60-40. It's tough to say no, because it's just we need it right now. We need that type of size. We need another guy because JaVale cannot play starters minutes. That's just what we need. Another guy who can bang, and I think Dwight Howard can still do that. No pun intended. So hey, look, if we get him,
you need to relax. You need to relax.
Hey, look, no pun intended, bro. Look, no pun intended. But look, if we get him, I'm with it. Let's rock. But
so my question, hey, I got one question.
Go ahead. My fault.
I got one question. So as a Lakers fan, who do you think y'all should get? If you had to make the decision, do you go with Dwight, Joakim, or any of those other guys we named?
So you sign? We only got a roster spot left, and I was kind of still looking at Iggy for that spot. But now that we need a big man, man, I'm gonna roll with Dwight, man. I'm gonna roll with Dwight. If I'm going off the last time he really played, like you said, which was because he only played 9 games for the Wizards last year, which was in Charlotte. He was giving you 16.6 points, 12.5 rebounds, and let me see how many blocks he giving you. 1.5 blocks a game. I'll take that because we need defense. You know this. Everybody has this thing about, oh well, y'all ain't got nobody guard Kawhi, nobody guard Paul George. That's okay. We're gonna put White big ass in the paint. They're gonna be shooting all night. Because we gonna have McGee, and Howard, and Anthony Davis waiting for him to come inside. So if I had to pick, bro, it would be Dwight. It would be Dwight at this point.
Okay. I mean, I like that move. He's playing 30 minutes in Charlotte, so I mean, not those minutes down. You know, get 7 to 8 minutes. So
25.
Still getting you about 10 points, 8 rebounds. So you could definitely use that. I like that. I did like
definitely a couple blocks in there too. So that's where I'm leaning. All you Laker fans, let us know what you think. But let's move on, man. The rookie surveys is out. Zion Williamson, John Morant, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, all of them did their surveys and things like that. So let's go and look at the rookie survey. So you want to start with the rookie of the year? You want to say that for last? Now that's obvious. Let's start there. Yeah. So as far as who will be the 2019-20 Kia Rookie of the Year, in first place, Zion Williamson finished with 35% of the votes. John Morant at second with 27. Third place, RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish both received 5% of the votes. David, I'll start with you. You have any issues with that? Do you got maybe another name you want to bring up? Who else?
I like to bring up Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I like to bring up Shea's brother. I think he'll definitely have an argument in that. VTech. Yeah, I think he's better than actually Shea is. He has a little bit more of a complete game. Him being in New Orleans, obviously, same city as Zion and Jackson Hayes as well. So he's there with a lot of talented rookies, but I think he'll definitely bring something special to the floor for them, especially if they need help at that point guard position. He'll come in there, he'll show out. He can score the ball, he can dish, he can play defense. He does a little bit of everything. I think he'll get maybe a couple of votes by the end of this year. Obviously you got all the Duke boys in there and Ja Morant, but obviously that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we're not going to really have much of an argument here. Zion Williamson leads the way. But if we look at the past, let's look at some of the past voters for who got voted to most likely win Rookie of the Year. And let's see if we think it's going to stack up. So last year it was a tie, actually. DeAndre Ayton and Colin Sexton were both chosen to probably win Rookie of the Year. And I don't think that happened.
Not even. Yeah, I say Sexton came on late, and Ayton doesn't have enough opportunity. So
Ayton was third, so Luka and Trey ran away with that. The year before, it was Dennis Smith Jr. I don't think he won Rookie of the Year.
Nah.
Yeah, Chris Dunn the year before that, he didn't win Rookie of the Year. In fact, dang, the last person to win Rookie of the Year who got voted, it might have been, let's see, Jabari Parker won in 2014. Was it him? Did he win Rookie of the Year?
No, hell no.
Oh my God, they haven't got. Look, I'm so blind. They got all the things right next to it. No one has won Rookie of the Year since they were projected to win it since 2007. Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
that's the last person to win Rookie of the Year.
Anthony Davis ain't win it. John Wall, Blake Griffin, they ain't
none of them. McCollum, Oladipo, none of them won Rookie of the Year.
Makes sense, but Anthony Davis and John Wall didn't. That's kind of surprising. I wonder who.
Yeah,
I gotta look that one up.
Yeah, look that up on the side and bring it back later. So that's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty interesting to see who's going to win Rookie of the Year. I think though we're going to revert back to 2007. I think Zion Williamson is going to win the Rookie of the Year, barring anything crazy happening.
All right, so 2010, Tyreek Evans won Rookie of the Year.
Tyreek Evans, okay,
that makes sense. He had like 25 and 5.
Yeah,
and 2012 it was Kyrie Irving. So.
Kyrie, okay.
Yeah, first couple years in Cleveland, he was going crazy.
Tyreek Evans in his prime and Kyrie Irving. Got it. Okay.
His prime.
That was Tyreek in his prime, bro.
Hey, right. In Sacramento.
That was his prime. But let's move on to the next one. The next question we have is which rookie will have the best career? Now, I know some of y'all going to probably think Zion wins away with this. Zion's not even in the top 4 of vote getters. So let me get it down to you. Number 1, who they think will have the best career? Cam Reddish, Atlanta Hawks, Duke. He's number 1 with 19% of the votes. It's close between him and Ja Morant, who comes in at second with 16% of the votes. DeAndre Hunter from Atlanta at number 3 with 11. And then a 4-way tie at number 4 with RJ Barrett, Jackson Hayes, Kobe White, and Zion Williamson both receiving 5% of the votes. So, David, did that go the way you thought it was going to go?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I mean, now that I'm actually, kind of looking at it on paper, maybe some of it has to do with people believe in my squad, man. They believe in Atlanta. You got Cam Reddish, got 19%, and DeAndre Hunter 3rd and 11%. So, I mean, having both of those guys up there is a little, kind of alarming because, I mean, usually you just see one, but having both of them up there, I definitely believe in Cam Reddish. I think he could actually have the best career. Those things that we saw at Duke, a lot of that had to do with spacing, and I mean, a player like him, space and opportunity, both of those two things. And I think the game, him playing in Atlanta, he couldn't have got to a better situation having Trae Young as his point guard. They have a ton of young talent, so they're gonna be able to grow with each other these next 5-6 years at least. So I do like him being the number 1 vote getter, but I mean, it is a little bit of shade towards Zion and RJ and those guys.
I think Zion's not as high just because of, Zion, as much of a superstar as a lot of people expect him to be, he's still a question mark. Mm-hmm. When he gets to the league, he's not really a tall guy at the same time. Crazy explosiveness, but if he don't develop, that's what I'm noticing. Cam Reddish might be one of the best shooters in the draft. He's up here high. Ja Morant, point guard, he can shoot. Number 3, DeAndre Ayton, another shooter, but he's also a defender. These wing-type players or a point guard, those guys seem to be lasting longer, and it kind of makes sense because, like we said, Steph Curry kind of took the original big man out of the league. So now you see these big men getting more injuries. We've already talked about DeMarcus Cousins. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. I'm surprised Jackson Hayes made it up here with many votes, but he's kind of versatile. You know, he's kind of like a skinny big man. So it's going to be interesting to see. Go ahead.
So who would you take? Who do you think is going to have the best career?
If I had to pick somebody, I would go Ja Morant.
Okay.
I'm a big Ja Morant fan. He can shoot it. He can dish it. He's a pure point guard. And then he can also go give you 30. So I like Ja Morant. He doesn't rely too much on his athleticism. He could do a lot of other things and create for others. And I like DeAndre Hunter. He can guard pretty much 1 through, I would say on the NBA level, 1 through 4 maybe, small ball 4, and he can shoot. I like DeAndre Hunter. I think he could last for. People were comparing. I remember when we had an episode earlier, people were comparing him to Kawhi Leonard. I don't want to get too crazy, but I'm saying if they comparing you to Kawhi Leonard off rip, it's got to be something good.
It's something. It's something. But
it's something good.
I like Cam Reddish at number 1. I think his ceiling is extremely high. He definitely. I saw a couple, Paul George comparisons, players like that. If you saw the picture of him next to RJ Barrett and Zion, he's taller than all of those guys. So he has the height. He's definitely the best shooter out of all of them. So if he could put it all together, maybe a lot of this is due to in high school, a lot of these guys played against each other. And if you've been keeping up with it, Cam Reddish was busting their ass in high school. Like he was dropping 50 and 40 on these fools. So maybe a little bit of that. They've seen him in that type of setting, so they know what he's capable of doing. So maybe a lot of it is that.
Right, and it could be a lot of that. Let's look at some of the past people who've been voted the highest percentage to have the best career. So last year, Wendell Carter Jr. was voted with 13%. So that shows me that last year was kind of close, that he only got 13% of the votes. Year before that, it was a tie between Lonzo Ball and Jason Tatum at 18%. I know a lot of people probably argue that Ball shouldn't have been there. Watch your mouth. The year before that, Brandon Ingram. I'm going to just go ahead. Everybody else is one person. So Brandon Ingram, 2016. Jahlil Okafor, 2015. There's a miss on that one. 2014, Jabari Parker. Probably a miss due to injuries on that one.
Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk. And, hey, look, Olynyk's still in the league, and he got a little contract under
Gonzaga, right?
Hey, yeah, Gonzaga. I remember when he was playing for Gonzaga. He was nice.
Nah.
Yes.
It was tripping.
Before that, the 4 players before that, Anthony Davis, John Wall, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, I have no problems with them being first in their respective classes. So let's move on down to the next one we have. Which rookie was the biggest steal at where he was selected in the draft? So at number 1, Bol to Denver at 19%. And it's actually a tie between him and Kevin Porter Jr. out of Cleveland at 19%. And then it's a 5-way tie at number 3, 5% each for these guys. Carson Edwards, Nasir Little, Isaiah Roby, Kobe White, and Grant Williams. What do you think about that? I actually agree with this. I think I don't agree with Kevin Porter Jr. being there as well. I agree that he was a steal, but I think Bol to Denver is definitely the steal of the night. What about you?
I kind of agree, full on. I mean, Bobo, yeah, I think he's probably the number 1 still just because he fell so late in 44 and Kevin Porter at 30. So, I mean, I would take Bobo a little bit higher, but I definitely agree. Like I said, Carson Edwards is the guy that I was looking at. And at 33, I mean, I definitely think he should have been closer in the, the early 20s, if not late teens.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Carson Edwards was a spark plug at Purdue, so we gonna see. He was at Purdue, right? I said that.
Yeah,
Purdue?
yeah.
Okay, I was making sure. I don't know why I was thinking something else, but yeah, Purdue. He was definitely a spark plug. Knocked out ODU. I went to go see that. So yeah, we gonna see what he got. Some of the past winners of this last year was Keita Bates Diop. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But he was last year's winner. Year before that, it was Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte
they got
Murray.
that one.
Yeah, they got that one. I would argue Kuzma, but hey, that's the Laker fan in me.
Donovan Mitchell. Give me Donovan.
Where did Donovan go in that draft?
I think he was like 13, 12. I'll look it up right quick. But yeah, he's barely lottery. I know that.
Hey, Kuzma was lower than him though now, and he averaged 18. Like that, look. I mean, he's obviously not as good as Donovan Mitchell, but I think Kuzma, if we redrafted, I think it's a strong possibility he's a top 10 pick. Bottom 5.
Donovan was picked 13.
Pick 13. So yeah, Donovan Mitchell definitely should have been a top 5 pick. A couple other guys of note: 2016 DeJounte Murray, 2015 Joe Young, 2014 Kyle Anderson, and so on and so forth. I won't go too deep in that. I'll shout out 2007 Nick Young.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
up?
got to.
I'll shout out. Oh, and I'll shout out 2010 Make 'Em Dance Lance. I'll shout him out right there. He was on that list. But let's move on to our next one, which is this will be nice and quick. Which rookie is the most athletic?
Oh yeah.
First off, I want to talk to the 13% of people who didn't pick Zion Williamson, but Zion Williamson is easily number one at 87%. Brandon Clark from Memphis got 8% of the votes, and Jackson Hayes and Kevin Porter received a couple of the votes.
Hey, those guys are athletic too. Got two big men, and Kevin Porter. He's just a bucket. Like he gonna find a way to get a bucket.
Well, so what you think about that? I mean, is there much to say? That was pretty good.
Nah. Zion, that's next level athletics.
Yeah, that's next level. Some past winners of the most athletic: Zion Williamson, Zaire Smith, Dennis Smith Jr. I definitely believe that one. Jaylen Brown, Justin Anderson, Zach LaVine, definitely. Justin Anderson. What up, Justin? What up, Justin? What up?
Hey, VA, that's VA talent right there.
Yeah, that's VA talent right there, definitely. But let's move on down. We got next, which rookie is the best shooter? For all my shooters out there, which rookie is the best shooter? Coming in at number one, my guy that I've been telling y'all to look out for, Tyler Herro out of Miami, got 33% of the votes. Coming in at number two, Kyle Guy, got 29% of the votes. Number three, Cameron Johnson, 13%. Number four, Ty Jerome at 8%. And number five, Jordan Poole at 4%. So, David, you have any issue with Tyler Herro being claimed as the best shooter in this draft?
I'm not mad at him being claimed the best shooter, but I'm mad at the disrespect to Carson Edwards and Darius Garland. Those are two guys.
Yeah, they got some votes.
They should be in the top. They should have at least got 10+% of the vote. I definitely think those two guys. They got the range. They got it. Like they can shoot. Obviously, it looks like they kind of went with the taller guys. They kind of went with somewhat forward. So that's kind of, I guess, what they're looking at. That's why the guards weren't getting as much love. A lot of people said Cameron Johnson was the best shooter coming into the draft. So that kind of throws me off. But I guess after Summer League and things like that, Tyler Herro took the vote.
Yeah, Tyler Herro definitely looked great in Summer League. I'm going to be real, though. I might have put Tyler Herro second. I might have went with Kyle Guy. Kyle Guy, if you don't remember him in college at Virginia, this man hit every three he touched the ball. Like every time I see him shoot, I knew it was going in. He hit clutch shots in almost every single round. I like Kyle Guy. I think he's going to be like I think his first year, he could be like a 38, 39% three-point shooter off rip. Like I think he's that level of a shooter. But what's crazy is Zion Williamson got some votes in this category. Now, I'm trying to figure out how. I mean, granted, he shoots a high percentage, but we're talking about shooters. I don't look at him as a shooter. I mean, would you have given him a vote? I mean, granted, I get the field goal percentage, but I don't think I would have given him a vote.
How did he get a vote? First of all, hold on. There's a lot of contradiction right now. So Cam Reddish is going to have the best career.
Right.
But he ain't getting no votes for best shooter. Right. He's known for being a shooter.
Right.
But Zion got a vote for being the best shooter. Something's off with this list. So it's a lot of these young boys. They probably, just didn't care about the list. It's like, man, get out of my face. Let me go ahead and put Zion best shooter. Go ahead and put Cam Reddish best player. So, I mean, it's looking a little shady now that you're looking at all these votes. Because how Cam Reddish not get a vote, but Zion did? That's just all.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I agree with you. But I'm looking at some of the people who have came out as the best shooter among their peers of late. Trae Young, Luke Kennard, but this one, it's kind of hard to get wrong on this one.
Yeah,
so
they got this one right.
I like what I'm looking. There's two of them that I'm going to talk about that I don't get, but Trae Young was last year, Luke Kennard, 2017. Buddy Hield, 2016, Devin Booker, 2015, Doug McDermott, 2014, Ben McLemore at 2000.
McLemore. He came to Houston. Welcome to Houston, Ben.
But is he a shooter though? Was he a shooter?
He's kind of looked at like Kevin Porter almost, like not there, but he was kind of looked at like one of those guys that could just go get a bucket. coming out of Kansas. He was like a shooter and athletic guard at the same time.
Now, granted, he only got 19% of the vote, so that lets me know that the voting was extremely close in that situation. But I just never saw him as really as a shooter. I look at him more as a scorer, high flyer type of guy.
You'll see it this year coming to Houston. He'll be in that corner, spotted up, waiting for hard.
We'll see. Year before that, John Jenkins won 49% of the votes. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't remember John Jenkins. He went to Atlanta, Vanderbilt. Shout out John Jenkins. Luke Babbitt, the year before 2010. Oh, no. And then before that, Steph Curry and Morris Allman. I don't want to get into stuff I don't know. I don't know much about Morris Allman. Steph Curry's easy as day.
80% of the vote.
Yeah, 80% of the votes. It wasn't even a choice. So let's move on to the next one, man. Which rookie is the best defender? So let's get to that. So at number 1, and you know what? I'm not going to mess this man up. I'm not going to mess this man's name up. Nope. I'm not going to mess his name up. Do you know how to say it correctly?
Matisse Thybulle.
Oh, no.
Matisse. I think that's Matisse. I don't know, man. Playing for Philadelphia. I know that much. Whoever Philly drafted, Thybulle. That's what I'm going to go with. Thybulle. That's his last name.
Okay. I'm looking it up. I'm getting it right.
And he got 37% of the vote. DeAndre Hunter, 29%. And then you had 3 players tied at third. Brandon Clark, Jackson Hayes, Nazir Little. They all had 8%. So that's kind of what you're looking at percentage.
Got it. We're going to put some respect on this man's name. His name is Matisse Thybulle. Straight, simple. Matisse Thybulle. That's his name. I'm looking at how you pronounce it. So if I'm saying it wrong, it's Basketball Reference's fault. It's not my fault. Don't blame me. But Matisse Thybulle that's how you say his name. Mm-hmm. But like David said, he just gave y'all the rankings of the best defenders. You have any issues with that?
No. I see Bobo got a couple of votes and Kobe White. So I like that. I think Jackson Hayes definitely has potential, just because he's such a springy type of guy to be a great rim protector and kind of switch out to those guards as well. So I think he'll definitely have something to say about it. And I'm looking at these highlights of the old boy for Philly right now. It looked like they might be on the song. He did get a lot of those votes for a reason.
He did get a lot of those votes, so we're definitely going to keep an eye on that. I have a question though. Mm-hmm. Is Zion Williamson not a good defender? Because last time I checked, he's a great off-ball defender. He's a good on-ball defender. He didn't even get a vote. I'm not even saying he should be first. Yeah,
he should have. Yeah, I say just for his off-ball defense alone, because he's known for coming and getting a couple of those blocks and kind of setting the tone, being a rim protector. So yeah, he definitely should have got a vote or two down here.
Yeah, I find that kind of weird. But let's look at some of the past guys who came out as the best defender of their rookie classes. Last year, Javon Carter out of West Virginia. He's in Memphis. I haven't seen much of him, so I can't really comment. Year before that, Josh Jackson out of Phoenix, who's now – wait, he's in Memphis now, right? Josh Jackson, he's in Memphis. He's in Memphis now, so we're going to see if he can play some defense because that's what they known for. A year before that, Chris Dunn out of Providence. He's a good defender. I like him. Rondé Hollis Jefferson the year before that. I don't know. Yeah, I like Rondé. Before that, though, Marcus Smart and McDaniels. Who is this McDaniels? 2014, went to Clemson.
Damn. He played for the Rockets, too. Damn. I can't
KJ.
Yeah, KJ. Yeah, KJ McDaniels.
Shout out KJ. He was nice on 2K. I'll give him that.
His first 2 years, he was pretty nice. It made a lot of highlights and hit the 3 a little bit. So I don't know why.
Now?
Yeah, I gotta look that one up. But
I'm not sure where he is now, but he was voted as one of the best. Him and Marcus Smart actually tied. Before that, Victor Oladipo, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Avery Bradley. I'm guessing that's Tony Douglas and Hasheem Thabit and Corey Brewer. So a lot of guys who've been known for defense on that list. So I'm not too angry at who they picked. I just think Zion Williamson should have got a vote.
KJ McDaniels, he's over in the Philippine league now.
Oh, okay, he's over in the Philippines.
Do his thing.
Locking up. So shout out to him, man. But let's move on to the next one we have. We're almost done, guys. Which rookie is the best playmaker? Number 1, Ja Morant, 40% of the votes. No surprises there. Darius Garland comes in at number 2 at 15%. Number 3 is the tie between Ty Jerome and Kobe White at 10% each. Number 5 is Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 8%. And number 6, they have a number 6, both tied at 6%. Kevin Porter Jr. and Tremont Williams. I'll start with this one. Like I told you guys earlier, Ja Morant is a pure playmaker. Don't get fooled by the highlights. That if you're just watching his highlights, don't get fooled by that. He is a pure playmaker, so I'm not surprised by this at all. East, what about you?
Yeah, I have nothing to say about this one. Ja is the clear answer. He got that kind of like a John Wall type of game, and his court vision is just ridiculous.
Led the nation assists last year. Yeah, man, I'm going with him. Some other people to win this award. I actually have zero issues with everybody I see on this list. So Trae Young, Lonzo Ball, Chris Dunn, D'Angelo Russell, Tyler Ennis, Trey Burke, Kendall. Shout out Kendall Marshall, yo. Shout out. You know why I'm shouting out Kendall Marshall? I remember I was looking at his stats one time in college. This man had more assists than shot attempts. So I know he a playmaker. Like,
I say, hey, more VA talent right there. Shout out him.
Yeah, John Wall, Johnny Flynn, Mike Conley round that out. But let's move on down and let's talk about some intangible things. So the question they posed to the rookies was, what will be the biggest adjustment for you playing in the NBA? 40% of these guys said speed or pace of the game. 20% of them talked about the physicality as far as athleticism, size, strength. It was actually a tie for second at 21% between physicality and schedule length of season. Got to think about that. And fourth with 12% was lifestyle time management. Are you surprised by this, or what do you think is the biggest adjustments for rookies coming into the NBA?
I actually think the second one that they have, physicality and length of the season. I think those are two things. A lot of these guys, they're gonna have an adjusted plan against these grown men. A lot of them are used to either bullying or just towering over whoever they were playing. In high school especially. And in college as well. So I think that's an adjustment. And then just playing 82 games in a season is just a different type of game. A lot, like, they're gonna hit a wall at some point. You're used to playing 30 games, 40 games at most if you go to like the championship or something like that. So You play half of an NBA season. That's usually when a lot of these guys do hit that wall, that 35th, 45th type of game. So that's gonna be the biggest adjustment, I think. Speed and pace, at the end of the day, these are the best athletes in the game, but it's still basketball. You play at your pace, kind of. Like, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, if I had to pick which one I think it was, I probably wouldn't be able to pick one. I would probably have a tie between speed, physicality, and length of the season. I just think the speed of the game, no matter where you're at, wherever you're playing basketball, on whatever level you're playing right now, you go to the next level where let's talk like the guys who be at the gym like us. There's the A court and there's the B court. When you make that move from B court to A court, everything's faster. So just imagine high school to college to NBA. The game is so quick. You got guards like Trae Young who can shake you off. Imagine you a rookie and you got to play the Brooklyn Nets opening night. You got Kyrie Irving in front of you, dog. You know what he's doing all night? Hey, clear out. Watch out. I got it. So I think the speed of the game, I think that's big. I think I would tie it up with physicality. You've never seen guys this big. Like we said, my questions about Zion Williamson was, will he be able to bang with the real bigs? Because he's going to be going against some people who might weigh. I mean, he weighs a lot, and I think right now I don't think he'd be the heaviest, but I think he was close. But still, you got guys, DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis. You got guys like Boban Marjanovic, Joel Embiid. How do you deal with such size and strength? I think that all ties in. And like you said, that schedule, that length of the season. I remember one time I played basketball 5 days straight and I was tired. So I know goddamn well, 35, 40 games in. Hey, look, I remember Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma rookie year. Lonzo didn't even make it. Lonzo ain't made it through a season yet. So, and that's no shade because I'm a Lonzo fan. So I think all three of those things come in big. As far as the lifestyle and time management, you'll get used to that. That goes with anything. Whenever you get a new job, you're gonna have to change that. So let's get into they'll be fine. Let's get into, let me check the time though. We'll see if we got time for two more. Where we at? Oh, we good. We got a little time. All right, so we got two more. The second one, what is the most important skill you need to develop? 32% of the rookies said shooting, 32%, ball handling 16, passing 9, strength 7. At number 5, we got a 4-way tie between decision making, defense, money management, and my favorite one, everything. So What do you think is the most important skill? We'll keep this one kind of short.
Hey, shit. Hey, whoever said everything, those the real. No, that 5% is gonna be the great players in this draft. That's
Hey,
exactly what it is.
whoever
Because
said everything and money management got black parents, I can guarantee you right now.
I'm saying, hey, yeah, everything is the correct answer in this. Hey, work on your shooting, your ball handle. You can never be good enough at your craft. As you see, Steph Curry goes out there and practices shot every damn day. Gets up, I'm pretty sure 500 plus shots, if not more. So hey, you always need to practice, even if you are great at something. Everything would be my answer, but shooting for sure. That definitely makes sense because in the NBA, it's a different type of range you have to shoot with, and all these players, a lot of them, they're athletically gifted, but they're not exactly skill gifted, especially like the top two categories suggest, shooting and ball handling. Those are two things you really have to work at if you're, gonna be an all-star type player and all-time great player maybe eventually.
Right, I agree with you all the way there, man. Hey, everything, rookies, everything. Work on everything. Let's move into our last category of the day, of the night. Who is your favorite player? So, who is your favorite player? The rookies selected, 38% of them chose LeBron James as the number one, their favorite player. Kevin Durant comes in at number 2 at 20%. Tied for number 3, I'm a little surprised. Kawhi Leonard and Damian Lillard, they're both tied right there, 8%. And at number 5, Devin Booker and James Harden are tied at 5%. I want to shout out the people who received votes at all, because I see a name that's not even in the league. So Jamal Crawford, Paul George, CJ McCollum, Pascal Siakam, Russell Westbrook, and are you ready for these two names? Kevin Garnett and Steve Nash. I respect picks like that. I respect things like that. But what do you think about LeBron being all these guys' favorite player?
First of all, before we get into that, I'm pretty sure, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say RJ Barrett chose Steve Nash. Being that's his godfather, but KG, that's a little surprising though.
That is a little surprising.
I want to see who made that one, but and Jamal Crawford's just a Seattle legend, so somebody out of Seattle probably picked him. Just got the crazy handle. Kevin Porter or something probably picked Jamal Crawford, but LeBron being number one, it makes sense. A lot of, if you look throughout the years, I know you're probably gonna touch on it, but just as soon as he won that finals against Golden State, he kind of jumped back into being everybody's favorite player, especially after KD left. OKC. A lot of people, they started, not liking KD as much, and LeBron kind of became that guy again. So it makes sense. 38% is, a little large to me. That's a wide percentage, but it makes sense. These young guys, a lot of people look up to him, and he does so much great things off the court that you can't help but love LeBron, even if you don't like his game on the court.
Yeah, for a lot of these guys, if they weren't watching basketball right away, by the time they were, LeBron was, he was the guy. He was the guy in the league, the king, all that. So I'm not surprised by that. If we go look at the past, there's only 3 players who've ever been at the top of this one. It's LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and of course Kobe Bryant. So I'm not gonna tell you who won it year by year. Just know it was one of those 3 names, like Kobe in 07, 010, LeBron 12. I'm gonna tell you 13 Kobe, 14 KD, 15 KD, 16 KD, and these last 3 years been LeBron. I'm not surprised. These three guys have been like, I mean, what can't we say about them? They are legends in their own right. Mm-hmm. All of them have rings. Some of the best players we've seen of all time. If you guys aren't taking a chance to notice what you're watching between LeBron James and what you've seen from Kevin Durant, for those fortunate to see Kobe Bryant, you're watching history when you watch greats like this play. When we do all these top 10 lists and we start naming players that, we might not have seen, Julius Erving. Remember, people watch these guys, so understand that, you're watching history and you should really appreciate that. But I'm not surprised LeBron is the top player. I'm not surprised at all at that.
Oh, yeah. So, exactly what you just touched on. KD, LeBron, and Kobe, those are probably the top 3 players these last 2 decades. Like, if we were to really get into it, over the last 2 decades, those are probably the top 3 players. So it definitely makes sense why those guys at the top of this list, and they kind of blaze the way for all these great talents that we see today.
That is right, man. But look, that's all we got for this NBA episode for y'all. Here's the deal. I'm glad y'all stuck around, man. Thank you guys for listening. David, got anything to say to the people?
Nah, man, just be on the lookout. We got some special things coming y'all for NBA. Before the season starts, we got a lot of lists. I know a lot of you guys are looking Definitely excited to see some of our lists, what we have all time, what we have currently, and things like that. But that's what's coming next.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time.
All right.